What up, YouTube? G4 Leader here once again, back with another video for you guys. And today's topic will be my thoughts on Avengers Endgame. I saw the movie last week, but I wanted to give people enough time to go see the movie because I wanted to talk spoilers. I didn't want to have to give some vague description in a video. I wanted to be able to talk about the whole movie, so I gave it a week. So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie after a week, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. But my thoughts on this movie was, it was definitely a good movie. It was definitely, I wouldn't say in my top 5, but definitely in my top 10 Avengers movies. I kind of felt like Avengers Infinity War was better in my opinion, but it was still did give me a satisfying conclusion, mainly with Iron Man and Captain America. It gave me a satisfying conclusion with them, but this movie, I felt like it couldn't give everybody a satisfying ending because it, after all, it is 10 years worth of material, 21 worth of movies culminating into that one movie. So that's a lot of different storylines that you have to try to wrap up in just 3 hours, and I feel like you couldn't wrap it up for everybody. So I kind of get that, but yeah, I felt like for Captain America and Iron Man, they wrapped it up for them too. I felt in the most respectful, amazing way ever. But you know, it was a lot of plot twists that I didn't see coming, especially with them killing the original Thanos so early in the movie. You know, Thor really did go for the head. So like I said, them killing that Thanos and having to use the old Thanos, not the old Thanos, but the past Thanos as the main villain, that was a plot twist I didn't see coming, that I don't think any of us predicted. But I think we all knew that they was going to go back in time to go collect the stones to reverse everything. So I think that part we predicted, but we didn't predict what was going to happen with Thanos. But among the things I did like, I will say there was a couple things that I you know, I had to give a little critique on. Like that first hour and a half, I felt like it was a bit slow, that they didn't have to go that slow with things. Like, I felt like we kind of got the gist of things. I felt like they could have been, that time could have been better spent wrapping up other characters or giving character development to other characters, you know, especially because they started storylines and they didn't necessarily do anything with them. And what I mean by that is, you know, like Nick Fury, he called for Captain Marvel. That was a whole post-credit scene that they made a big deal about, and Captain Marvel was only in it. She only had about 5 lines in the entire movie, and she never spoke, and she never really talked to Nick Fury in the movie. So it kind of felt like, what was the point? What was the point of that post-credit scene? You know, it kind of undercut it in that way. And I felt like that was also time that could have been spent developing, you know, what they started with Black Widow and the Hulk. They never had a conversation about why he left and things like that. They said about 2 words to each other in the whole 5 hours, you know, with Infinity War and Endgame. They said about 5 words to each other. So it's just kind of like, why did y'all even start up this relationship in Age of Ultron just for it ultimately to go nowhere? Like, what was the purpose of it? It felt like it served no purpose. So I felt like a lot of that time heist thing, them going back in the past and all of the jokes, I feel like that could have been time better spent, you know, fixing, you know, or giving satisfying conclusions to other arcs that they kind of started but didn't necessarily give an end to. Because with Black Widow, they can't give an end to that story now because she died. So it's kind of like it served no purpose. So stuff like that, I just kind of feel like they could have used a better sense of time. But nevertheless, I did enjoy them going back in the past, which is tricky because inevitably you will cause plot holes in the movies and things like that. But like I said, I didn't matter. The theater was having a good time. We got good laughs, you know. We got, the jokes was on point. The theater was laughing and things like that. So the comedy was good. So even though I felt like they could have used that time a little bit better, I didn't mind it that much. Yeah, it's just a little critique. here and there. But another critique I have to say, is because I'm a Hulk fan. You know, Professor Hulk and Hulk just being a joke in the entire movie. I kind of hated that shit. I kind of felt like Hulk fans deserved better. And I know a lot of people want to say the same thing about Thor, them messing up Thor because making him fat and things like that, but at least Thor got redemption toward the end of the movie, and he had epic moments fighting Thanos at the end. Hulk didn't have nothing like that, but I will agree with people with them saying they kind of messed up Thor, because Thor was at his best, his absolute best, in Infinity War. You saw his strength with him taking a dying star. You saw him take out Thanos damn near one hit. You saw him taking out all of the aliens in Wakanda when they had the war in Infinity War. He even had that emotional moment when Rocket asked, "What if you can't defeat Thanos?" And Thor cried and said, then at least I have nothing left to lose, because he lost everything. His best friend was killed. Half of the Asgardians died. His mother is dead. His brother dead. He really felt like he had nothing left to lose if he couldn't defeat Thanos. And I felt that moment in Infinity War. And you know, that vulnerable yet powerful Thor is what I liked. And I felt like they kind of diminished that in Endgame. They kind of diminished that by making him more of a joke and shit like that. I mean, he kept his power. In fact, he got even more powerful. But I felt like they kind of diminished it, making light of it, making it a joke. I felt like I wish they kind of didn't go that route. Mjolnir, him being worthy and things like that. I kind of predicted that that would happen. We all predicted that when we saw him kind of lifted in Age of Ultron. He kind of lifted it a little bit. That we all kind of said at some point he's going to lift that hammer. He is going to lift Mjolnir at that point. So I kind of digged the fact that he finally did, and he was giving Thanos that work. That was kind of dope. The only thing that kind of made me feel bad is going back to the Hulk. That was kind of like, damn, so now Captain America is stronger than you. You know, if he got Mjolnir and the shield, now Cap even stronger than Hulk. So Hulk is downgraded even more. So Hulk is really one of the weakest Avengers out here. But it was a cool moment nevertheless. But other things in the movie, I kind of felt like, how did I feel about Black Widow? Because I have to talk about Black Widow because she was one of the few that died and stayed died. Because, you know, as you know, everybody was brought back, but a couple people wasn't, like Vision not coming back. And Black Widow, she sacrificed herself so they could get the Soul Stone. And I kind of feel like, you know, personally, I kind of feel like that didn't need to happen. I kind of feel like if y'all was going to use time travel, you know, y'all could have, if you really wanted to, could have grabbed Captain Marvel and went to the point in time to when Thanos kind of already had the Soul Stone after he sacrificed Gamora. So y'all could have had Captain Marvel and maybe Hulk, Captain Marvel, and maybe Thor go to that point in time and them beat the shit out of Thanos and take the Soul Stone right there. Because you know Thanos ain't taking out Captain Marvel and that Thor, that version of Thor. That's too much power right there. So I feel like if they would have went back and grabbed the stone from that point in time, Black Widow didn't really need to sacrifice her life, but I guess they had a limited amount of time. A limited amount of PIM particles to go back in time. But I just felt like she didn't have to die that way. She did not have to die that way. Like, if they could go back and get up in a point in time and grab other PIM particles to go back more in time, I felt like they could have did that, you know, grabbed a little bit more and did that, and Natalie didn't have to die. That's the only thing I'm saying. But other than that, I guess that's a satisfying conclusion for her storyline, even though her and Hulk didn't go nowhere with it. But yeah, past that part, the action, the last 45 minutes, that's what we all wanted to see. All the 10 years going up to that last 45 minutes, that last fight at the end, I felt like it was really dope. Like I said, everybody coming back, seeing Black Panther, Spider-Man, the Asgardians, seeing the Wakandan army, everybody going up. Like, that's what you wanted to see. It all built up to that last moment, and that fight That last fight was worth it. I felt like the whole theater was going nuts at that part. I felt like when the first portal opened up and Black Panther walked through with that swag, the theater already went nuts. And then when everybody else came out, yeah, the theater went nuts. It was an amazing thing to see. I love that part of the movie. It was all worth it. Yeah, that last fight was just amazing. That last fight was just amazing. And even the way it ended with Tony Stark dying, I felt like that was sad. I felt like there was no way around that Tony was going to survive that. I know a lot of people said maybe if Captain America sacrificed himself, it would have been more emotional. And it's kind of like, not really. I felt like it was more emotional that Tony sacrificed his life because he had just started a family. He had just, in the midst of tragedy with everybody disappearing, he actually got a second chance and found happiness. Him and Pepper Potts got to have a family, got to have a daughter, and he got to have everything he ever wanted. And he was the one that was skeptical to even do the plan to begin with because he had the most to lose. But ultimately, he picked saving the universe over everything else. And I felt like that was noble, and I felt like it was more hard-hitting with him. It's all started with Iron Man and it ended with Iron Man. So I could appreciate that over it being Captain America. Not to say it wouldn't have hurt with Captain America, but I felt like it was great. It hit harder for me that it was Iron Man that did it. And the part with Captain America, him aging and choosing to stay in the past, I kind of felt like I liked that part too. Him giving the shield to Falcon, I felt like that happened for it. That's some comic book shit. I know a lot of people had issues with it, but Sam was Captain America at one point. It's not like they just wrote this out of nowhere for the movie or they forcing diversity. No, this is a comic book arc. This is a comic book. This happened in the comic book. So it actually had old Steve Rogers and Sam taking over as Captain America. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that Captain America got to live and have a normal life. So I felt like that was a satisfying conclusion for him as well. So in a way, Captain America got to have a life. In a way, Iron Man got to have his life too and got to start over and have a family as well. So they both got to have satisfying ends. So overall, this whole movie, I really do enjoy it. I have to say, like I said, not my top 5. I have to say maybe it's in my top 10, maybe about 7. It's about ranked 7 in my top 10. And overall, the movie itself, I definitely give it an 8 out of 10. It was a great movie. Like I said, I've seen it twice already. It worked every penny. I'm glad I didn't get spoiled like some people. I wasn't playing with that shit. I went out as early as fuck. Its first showing, I went to go see that movie. So yeah, I wasn't gonna get spoiled with that. But anyways, I'm about to get out of here. You guys can hit me down in the comments down below. Tell me your thoughts on the movie. Did it live up to your expectations? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's talk about it. Keith Foley here signing off, and thank you guys for watching.